There we go. All right. Rob? Oh, yeah, okay. Then we just zoom in on the... Okay, and then there we go. I'll put a little more slack on that. Not Rob. Bob. Jeez, Louise. Daniel, stop it.
Hello. Hi.
There we go. Just deal with that.
I'm going to dedicate this poem to Tommy, actually. It's called Together. He peeled the rind back, and saw the orange meat. The white rind peeling back like tundra snow dropping into sea in summer. The orange and the white skin peeling back, separating from the globe of fruit. And then each crescent moon of meat separating, so the shape of orange changed. And so he thought, together as the self-same fruit, whole, spherical, complete, once we once were, not long ago, whole and integral we were. And thereupon a soul fear fell. It's not the rind which separates from fruit, or fruit from rind, but everything which changes. And yet the earth remains sublime as seasons change, and something yet remains the same, not changing. That is, you and I. This orange now is fit to eat. The sections once a part of all are now apart. And yet there once was orange too, that memory of me and you that's still retained, somewhere in my weeping brain, somewhere where we each smiled at each other like gleeful brothers. So in love with one another comes the pain of eating oranges in the summer sun. And here he wiped away the tear, and tore a crescent from the sphere in pain, in anger, in final fear of living on bereft. The globe is gone, there's nothing left, he said. My love is dead. He placed the crescent between his lips, and with that final kiss, he wept.
You got about a couple of minutes, something short, then you come back at the end.
This one is a relief from that one. At what time? It's called a comedy. At what time does the devil wake? It's 5 o'clock and no sign yet, except a rip in my overalls, a little rip in my sock. On the radio, a heightened string quartet evoking the 18th century. A maid folding away yesterday's laundry, a pot falls and clatters in the kitchen, and she says, oh, the devil, master will awake. It's 10 minutes after 5, and I'm alive and ready for the day, evil still away. The sun comes up and looking light disperses. Everyone reach for their purses to tally up the coffee. I say, what keeps him, knowing the devil will be here? When of a sudden, as though I had conjured him, laughing his false piety and pity, comes my guest, the object of my quest. He's had a rest from me, adversity itself. I wait, I know that I make no mistake about his pity and piety. It is the devil himself, the thing I call to and have to know. That devil is reality.
I was remiss in my recitation of all the different door prizes. So Bob here is actually what I call the last word. And the last word is the person who reads a poem to open up the second half and then also close it. So he has 2 slots in there. So he'll be back at the conclusion of the evening. There's also the co-pilot, the person that sits here and reminds me of what to do, not to do, and things like that. The keynote, which was it
Buford?
It was Buford today. And then we also have choosing next week's theme, which today is appetite. Someone chose that. And then the mini feature, which we will see when he takes the mic, the mini feature of the
which
second
is 8 minutes.
It's an 8-minute slot in the second half. Thank you so much.
Clara Sue, you're up.
Oh, Clara Sue. We haven't seen her in a while, so give this woman a wonderful, warm, kindly, happy welcome.
Poetry in Chinatown. 5-5, the 5th of May, paddle the dragon boats, eat 种子 by the bay. The poet had sunk to the bottom of the river. Nothing is sadder, than separation. In the town of funky old lanterns and alleys littered with cigarette butts, Lipo is but a cocktail lounge. Heightened thoughts dissipate in the porridge stream. Duck grease drips down window panes. The moans of China's progeny, their tired backs, their bloodshot eyes. Weariness squeezes the minds dry. Children open their mouths and cannot sing. Grown-ups hiss and spit in their streets. The heart is heavy, unsettling. A man treaded gently up the hill. Illness had made him gentle. He found the mail slot on a corner building and was about to shove a book through. I opened the door. Hello. Breathless, his eyes looked even wider behind the huge glasses. A bit of rouge. We had met the day before, into a smear of blood and tear. I gave him my book, swaying in loneliness. A window into a stranger's mind that derives from 1,000 years of sorrow. Don't ask the blossoms and their leaves about emotion. Let's just carry the hangover and stagger in a carmine reverie. He told me he had a few essays to write and left. He sent me the finished work by email, but the poet has blurred into the streets of trinkets and meat markets. Sometimes brutal, sometimes gentle. How bright the moon. We are being cut down by age. Us, the clear sky with wine in hand, becoming the old poets of Chinatown, not knowing in the heavenly palace what year is this night. Live, laugh, cry, die among the sound of marchang. I would ride the wind and depart, mouths and bodies yearning to be touched, but I fear the bejeweled jade dwellings, the cold in high places. At Chinatown's one-day sidewalk sale, I put a table out on Waverly Place with my books and broadsides. Jenny Lim dropped by the day before and gave me her chapbooks. Frances Chin arrived with her memoir in a suitcase. It was a warm and sunny day. We hung out in front of Clarion. Frances met a fan of hers and struck up a lively conversation. Nellie Wong came a little later with her books too. Earlier in the day, the youth community across the street brought over some helium balloons. I tied them on the handle of a poster board. Fidget spinners were selling by the bushel down on Grant Avenue. At least that's what I heard. Pedestrians hastened their speed when passing our table. A few brave ones turned their head toward the books for just a second, but inevitably looked the other way. To catch an eye or a smile, to catch the attention of someone not interested. Poetry is sunning in broad daylight, not interested. Vibrant and thoughtful women are ready to converse, not interested. Are we as obscure as creatures from Mars? Those creatures might be more interesting than poets. Don't be afraid. We are here to stay in the town that sells everything. The 5 colors blind the eyes. In a town where all languages are spoken, the 5 tones deafen the ears. In the town that relishes food, the 5 flavors coy the palate. In the town where conversations wind around the wooden stools of sand wall, where Sing Chu Wang and his wife, Gimme, record reading love poems to each other on their wedding day. 20 roses blooming, spring, eternal. At midnight, I swivel to the bells of the old St. Mary's, drink paper wine, becoming intoxicated. Thank you.
I don't see
Did Buford leave?
Yes.
You're up, Rosie.
Okay.
Clara, what's a fidget spinner?
So Rosie Berryessa,
Yeah.
you're up.
Oh, it's a little thing, you hold it and it has these 3 knobs and you just, it's just like a little gyroscope
Take away
spinner.
from kids these days.
It's something they bring to school and it's really annoying because they sit there going like this. spinning.
Yes, it's the latest fad, like Pogs, if you remember that from a few years back.
Remember what?
Pogs?
Yeah.
Do you remember those?
Pogs, I don't remember.
They used to take those away from kids.
Yeah.
But now they take fidget spinners.
Fidget spinners.
Take wax lips.
And there's some research to indicate that these fidget spinners are good for kids with ADD. It is not good for kids without it, so they say, because then they become distracted.
Fidget and spinning.
Hmm? No, she's been here.
Okay, I got this book. It's called Laugh Out Loud Jokes for Kids, and I found it's been helpful when I've been traveling.
Just get close to the mic.
Do I need to get closer?
Yes,
That's
dear.
better.
Okay, I'm closer.
There you go.
How do you get a tissue to dance? Put a little boogie in it.
Oh.
But these are jokes for like 4th graders. And 3rd
Yes,
graders,
you can
okay,
yes.
elementary ed. Okay. What do you get when you cross an elephant with a fish?
What?
Swimming trunks.
Okay, now, I, up until about 15 or 20 minutes ago, I could not. Hello.
Oh,
I think you just pulled it
the
out.
plug came out again.
Oh.
That's what happened. Just plug it, just to get back in. It's been
I have this
tempered.
effect on people?
Yeah, see,
There
it's
we go,
really-
no, good. I'm good, okay.
I couldn't find the poem I was going to read, and I couldn't find it all the way over the bridge, and then it showed up after all. Let it go. So, hold on a second. So it turns out that today's theme is appetite, which works really well with this poem. But before I read this poem, I want to recite a prayer that I actually turned into a song. And it's by an Inuit woman. And she is making a request for the following year. I turned it into a song. I come to you, the one to whom I now pray, the one whose means are mercy, to ask that I remain among the living, chief of the upper world, owner of life. May I come again next year and stand among the living. This poem is for my grandmother, Kay. It's an ode to a mother lode of sweetness. Grandma Kay brought persimmons from her achingly loaded tree, Sunnyvale to Morgan Hill, Yerba Buena, San Francisco, or San Rafael, wherever her largesse could land each autumn season. After she gave up hosting from her own modest home behind San Jose Community College. Each year's Thanksgiving persimmons, along with unforeseen numbers of pumpkin pies, elicited siblings and cousins friendly jesting regarding how many pumpkin pies this year and how many persimmons will she unload. The pumpkin pies often rested unassumingly on top washing machines, a pantry-like place, quietly breathing, as baked items tend to do, and matured their flavor texture with a bit of settling down time. Oh, orange pumpkin pie anticipation. But on to the queenly persimmons. Let's summon their sweetness. Please accept this unofficial observation of their ripeness over time by I Am Memorial. So seen. A truly ready to ripen Hachia persimmon will proudly display its new crop by 1, losing its leaves, 2, lowly swaying the laden tree will entice us to partake of its sweet nature. 3, remember that when sampled, if not sufficiently ripe, a Hachia persimmon will cause an astringent effect from tannins that engender an unpleasant pucker, along with a longing for a sweetness as yet unfulfilled. Sorry, I lost my place. That unfulfilled sweetness was getting to me. Amen. A woman. Grandma K. Grandma Kitty. Persimmon tender. Salt of the earth. She graced the canneries of Sunnyvale. Her face steamy in juicy fruits that demanded her attention each season. Freestone peaches, Blatam apricots, clingstone peaches, a litany of such urgent preservation from tree to can. Grandma and her other gals along the assembly line processed sun-rich harvest for common pleasure and nurturance. While in her yard, Grandma turned the salty clay to soil, molding roots and trunks so strong to support her mother load. My mama bore her mama's mother load each season. What else to do, she asked herself. I can't deny her gifts. Meanwhile, we heard Grandma Kitty's admonition. You eat 'em all. Uh-oh. Those ripening translucent globes crowded our windowsills and nestled till perfected when they seeped their cloying wetness. At that point, those swollen persimmons demanded immediate use. So I responded much like my new granddaughter Paz, who feasts on her own mama, and I suckled up that viscous orange ambrosia, the sweetness keenly rich, and all for myself. Oh, spirit of Carpe Diem, I cherish that we're 4 generations of daughters, Grandma Kay, me, Mama, me, Felly, and Pa's. Oh, remembrance consumes me. Oh, this gratitude replenishes, and oh, it refreshes me. Ah, these fruits of inner and outer laboring. Ah, this fulfillment, fulfilling, ripening turns my inner pucker into a self-satisfied smile.
Thank you. Rose Berryessa.
Steve, you're up next.
Good save. This is Steve Armstrong, ladies and gentlemen. Give him a round of applause. Steve Michael is the well-known, the well-regarded, the highly energetic, kinetic, frenetic.
Is that right?
Yes.
I was going to sign up as millennial overreach because I just like that concept. And I'm writing a story right now about the millennials who traveled back in time to the Battle of Stalingrad, and they're trying to advise the Russians and the Germans about what to do. Anyway, so who was talking about Haydn? Just listening to one of the string quartets, one of the last ones. And was reminded of that Haydn used to play string quartets with Mozart. Can you imagine these 2 guys, plus 2 other people, because you have to have a quartet.
Yeah.
But Mozart and Haydn together in a string quartet. So, all right, this piece is part of a longer poem. Okay?
All right.
Is that all right with you?
Yeah.
Okay. We came to Lone Ranch, and the creek belonged to its enterprise. False promises gone to bed with exactitude. And after the milking and other chores, think you never needed techno to find a rhythm, running errands for the winds that made a prairie at the Cape Ferrelo. Was it always treeless like this? Perhaps the working ranch is why. Or some computer in the landscape, smoothing, soothing, so that you make a good death and lie down for the duration of statehood, pretending Oregon outlasts even its own geology and joins the moon in making rules. I said, believe and belong where emptiness is judged a higher truth, haunting okay in the sunlight even, as if it doesn't matter the condition of the clock with its one-way proposals. You get ahead of the night and ghost the day more accurately, drifting, translucent, so that no ordinary bramble spread in the extant Sitka, but seemed to burgeon by faith alone, while saplings add new inches of lighter green to turquoise with painstaking freshness. Like a godfather, the former governor of Oregon, Samuel Boardman, explains everything, more than once in my case, and nothing adds up, strangely. The empty calendar flips, stunningly irrelevant with no free time. He sings a song last heard in the 50s, when it was thought that heaven had relocated here for the foreseeable. So then it was Found Ranch, full of objets trouvés from the extramarital cosmos. I saw you exploring the creek again, the wine bottle broken that held the vintage. Boardman walked too, the coast trail worn with feats of his agility and balance. The best acrobats have used it. In the afternoon's more level light, the prospects north and south reveal their secrets. Oh, let's go catch up with him, revisiting those eerie tunnels through the thickets, defending principles lost to poverty, taking tough stands when to do so demonizes even your pet canary.
Okay. And now our mini feature, David Ergolite, is going to come forth, and I will take over the manipulations of this device. So-called. Thank you.
You're next.
Who's next?
Hal.
Hal? Dr. Hal Robbins, and Hal.
Okay.
You're on.
So, Poetry Express in Berkeley has many hosts, but one of them is Bruce Bagnell, and he just put out a book yesterday, Self-Evolution Spa. Bruce is a Bay Area native since his time serving as a U.S. Air Force captain in the Vietnam War, and he is violently pro-peace and anti-war. Cook, mechanic, college professor, Bagnell has also held various management positions, including running a car dealership. Recently remodeled a 1930s French laundry in Oakland into an art and dance studio. So anyhow, I'm going to read the first poem in this book, which I won't even go into Bruce's generosity. It's pretty incredible. But and I've harassed Dan to get Bruce to be a feature here, so you'll hear him in about 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
This is called Oakland. Yeah, take that, San Francisco. This is called Oakland.
Yeah.
Your sister, who's often invisible like Brooklyn to Manhattan.
Hey, Brooklyn.
Oakland, the flock of white-clad Ethiopians scatter like doves at MLK and 55th, drifting past the chain dollies and wheelbarrows of Ace Ellis into their cinder block cave of worship. Sheets and headscarves colorlessly frame black wizened faces. They slowly congregate. Next door, jeans and t-shirts step up to the hardware counter to remake the city with caulk and bolts, emigrating into the neighborhoods until they belong. Oakland. The for sale signs are offset crosses. Open house on Sunday hanging on the tees. Take some brochures full of beautiful pictures. Urban houses recently unghettoized, polished and staged, listed as Baja Rockridge, Outer Temescal, trendy. Welcome to the hip town of Oaklandish, East San Francisco. No! Your house now under-offered for the overbid, 10 times what you paid. The cries of your children painted under by Garcia and Oscar's Magic. The house redone in days until the price is cosmetically justified like a cherry Lexus on a used car lot. A bargain cheap at $800K. Move over, Oakland. Let the young with their hip 3-day chin stubble bid. Sold! $150K over asking, as planned. Oakland. Go down International Boulevard. You cross the border into Asian markets, car lots, restaurants signed in Hanzi script. Go down past 14th, past Emperor Building Supply, until you reach Cesar Chavez Center School. The best taco trucks are in the Goodwill parking lot. Fried brains, beans, and rice there. Before Fruitvale Station and its assassination, you can ask what country you are in, but look down and see the needles and condoms floating in puddles at the curb. Urban campers sit at 12th and 29th. Old shells worn as the elevator shooed whores outside. Pick a prostitute. Get a fried brain taco at the trucks. Parked every afternoon at the Goodwill lot. Choose a migrant worker for sheetrock. Men waiting for contractor trucks. Waiting for Godot. Waiting to swear. Break fingers. Breathe sawdust. Sheetrock. Till they hurt in the bodega line. Waiting to send remittances home. Trapped by an iron fence. Oakland. Welcome to Uptown, just north of downtown, where there is the jazz of Piedmont piano, the dance and rock of the new parish, the crowds of the First Friday open studios, and the white tablecloth venues of the affluent discussing futures after the third cocktail. Here, if you drive, you can kill the wandering head-down pedestrians deep in their cell phones, they who just missed death on the handlebars of red light running cyclists. Some, clueless, will donate wallets to the lions who wait for crowds to thin on dark streets, paint graffiti gang signs, unreadable to the illiterate. Oakland. Is this every city? The homeless pushing their carts, the tents and tarps under the overpass, aside the parks, torn campers and torn people, sitting flat-tired until street sweeping day, avoiding the punishments of the man by trundling across to the next haven. Here is the unmeasured belly of America, the land of the free, brave, the newly made and the unmade, the land where Ohlone broke shells and walked until the redwoods were cut into boards and houses, the land asphalted and bricked, where the World War II machine fed the black diaspora, docks exploded, exploited, abandoned to commerce, always discarding, moving on, moving on. Oakland. Four-legged girder cranes float at steel boxes onto the docks, the trucks, the rails, old cars returning from China as toasters, vacuums, nuts and bolts, as the nails holding the crosses together on the lawn at St. Columbus Church on San Pablo Avenue, one for each murdered Oakland soul, black on black death over nothing. While the Piedmont ladies underpay their gardeners, sip their Napa wines, bounce around in two big houses with fake columns holding up their world. Oakland, where the old tidal San Antonio slow, stinking of sewage, morphs into Lake Merritt, children's fairyland, the necklace of night lights, walkers, joggers, where the neon of Grand Lake Theater twinkles and the black night heron stumbles across MacArthur and birds cry at 5 a.m. The old Tribune building, newspaper, closed up, lost like Jack London's days as an oyster pirate before he ended up in high school readers, his socialism never discussed. Oakland, the home of Bay Bolt, Lakeshore Metals, Clorox, Fenton's Creamery, Pandora, Ask.com. You can buy most anything in Oakland. Take a marijuana grow class. Be born, die. But that's not the point. It's the Wans, the Hongs, the Hiromis, the Smiths, the Alis, the Letitias, Mohammed, Chase, Jaden, Naomi, Rise, Tariq, Bob, Bill, Joe, Vishnu, Jesus, mixing, rising, loving, rising, working, rising, dancing, singing, rising, rising, Oakland, Oakland, rising, Oakland, Oakland! Thank you, Bruce. Okay, here's what I wrote today. I'll go backwards until I run out of time. I wrote 3 things today. Parental guidance advised. My father's sense of humor, coupled with my mother's preferred word, bird, turd, curd, herd, absurd, to conceive the poet who doesn't know it. This one, I'll read you first Rules of the Road. I was a truck driver for 18 years. When the median's been attacked, a truck's been there. When there are tire marks on the outside curve of the K-rail on a cloverleaf, a truck's been there doing more than 25 miles per hour. When a large sign on thick posts lies crumpled off to the side of the road, a truck's been there. When there are chunks out of the old telephone pole 4 feet up or higher, a truck's been there. The overpass has been altered, or the filling station's island's open-air roof is damaged, a truck's been there. New sidewalks, cracked, curb shattered, tire trucks in evidence, truck's been there, a little too heavy. Now that fenders are made of cardboard, fiberglass, just note, please, how much damage the front and sides of that Mack have sustained. And check the rear bar for serious bends and dents. Missing mud flap? Follow that, and your windshield will soon be eating stones. Hey, four-wheeler! I'm talking to you! Pay attention! That sucker's got 18 wheels and outweighs you 20 to 1. Caution and consideration are much better passengers than fear. That was written by MT Trailer.
Remember MT?
A minute.
Okay, one short one, so the three that I wrote today. That's good. Oh, that's perfect. Let the poetry percolate. There is a fresh green word salad on the water table. Parse the parsley, combine the columbine, turn the phrases over, eliminate the run-on sentences, get to the core of it, add a little dirt, castings unearth, the right actors and the right actions, break the mold, shovel the shuffle, decked out in chips and bone meal, clippers clip their clippings into bits and obits that disintegrate with thyme and oregano, stalk the tame asparagus, spear the errant infinite infinitive, layer the straw man to mute the stench of a paragraph paradigm. Leaf through the pages. Lead down the garden path and spread those illusions. Compote, compost, compute. They are all the same soliloquy souffles. Thank you.
How many pictures? Yeah, very right. And now we have Dr. Hal, then Sharon, and then Bob coming back to close us out. So welcome Mr. Hal Robbins, please, with a round of applause. Or a parallelogram, duodecahedron.
Icosahedron.
Ooh,
Yeah.
thank you.
20 facets there. The first lines I have are from William Blake. Children of a future age, reading on the printed page, know that in this antique time, love, sweet love, was thought a crime. It's winter now, and in the dead of winter in January, the fruits from South America that have opposite seasons to us come to the stores, and I'm looking forward to the cherries because I like them better than the ones from this hemisphere. This is the Hymn to Autumn by Keats. Season of mists and mellow fruitfulness, close bosom friend of the maturing sun, conspiring with him how to load and bless with fruit the vines that round the thatch eaves run, to bend with apples the mossed cottage trees, and fill all fruit with ripeness to the core, to swell the gourd and plump the hazel shells with a sweet kernel, to set budding more and still more later flowers for the bees, until they think warm days can never cease, for summer hath o'erbrimmed their clammy cells. Who hath not seen thee oft amidst thy store? Sometime whoever seeks abroad may see thee sitting careless on a granary floor, thy hair soft lifted by the winnowing wind, or on a half-reached furrow sound asleep, drowsed by the fume of poppies, whilst thy hook spares the next swathe and all its twined flowers. And sometime, like a gleaner, thou dost keep steady thy laden head across a brook, or by a cider press with patient look thou watchest the vast oozings, hours by hours. Where are the songs of spring? Aye, where are they? Ask not for them, thou hast thy music too, where barred clouds still bloom the soft dying day and touch the stubble plains with rosy hue. Then in a wailful choir the small gnats mourn among the river sallows, borne aloft or sinking as the soft wind lives or dies, and full-grown lambs loud bleat from hilly bourne. Hedge crickets sing. Now, with treble soft, the redbreast warbles from the garden croft, and gathering swallows twitter in the skies.
Excellent.
And I'm back. 3 minutes I'm going to do this one too. Pied Beauty by Gerard Manley Hopkins. Glory be to God for dappled things, for skies of coupled color as a brinded cow, for rose moles all in stipple upon trout that swim, fresh fire coals, chestnut falls, finches' wings, landscape plotted and pieced, fold, fallow, and plough, and all trades, their gear and tackle and trim, all things counter, original, spare, strange, whatever is freckled, fickle, who knows how, with swift, slow, sweet, sour, adazzle, dim, he fathers forth, whose beauty is past change. Praise him. Thank you.
I love it! Yeah, that's just on the other side if you have to. All right. Or, yeah, there you go. All right. And now Sharon is coming before you with a great voice, a heart, and a soul that just won't let her rest. And Dave's going to help out with that. Give her a nice round as she comes up.
Okay,
There we go. Let me make sure you're framed there, my dear. Okay, you are framed, as they say in the old times.
What a man remembers. A man remembers all the stats for all the Boston Red Sox games. A man forgets your birthday. A man remembers the words to all Black Sabbath songs.
Ooh.
But a man forgets his checkbook. A man remembers his bookie's number by heart. A man forgets his mother's birthday. A man remembers every year, every rule was changed in baseball.
Yeah.
But he forgets what you tell him to go to the grocery store. A man remembers how many miles his first car was to the gallon of gas. A man forgets to bring a map so he can find his daughter's graduation. A man remembers how to get home from a kegger blind drunk. But a man forgets that Christmas counts every year on December 25th. But he does remember that the stores are open on Christmas Eve. A man forgets his wallet at home, but a man remembers his mistress's phone number by heart. A man forgets to date his will. A dying man remembers your first date, the way you smelled, the way you looked, and the flower in your hair.
All right, and now we're coming back to Bob. He's the what we call the last word. The last word is the person who introduces the second half and then closes it out. Thank you, Hal, for all that and the kindnesses that you bestowed upon us. Yeah. We're just gonna zoom in on you and get yourself going there.
These are called Two Songs of the Earth. All these I've been reading from about 5 years ago. So this is called Ode to Thee, the writer's caveat. Ode to the young and free again like a bird. Get rid of the sweet, absurd conjuration I call my poetry. Never to have written a single word, to double the reed of my forgotten wind, to dwell upon the steed, breed stallions of my glorious breath, and to multiply my life, flying unto welcome death, and not to totter willfully instead.
Nice.
And the second one is called No One Can So Fine. No one can so fine a plan devise as will astound the look of gaping eyes, but sing a song that somehow should be mute, and I'll lay down in soil, that's a tomb. The text that tells a tale of lifelong dreams contrives to tell my heart what soul must seem. I don't exactly this old world despise, but for my place in heaven make me room, and I'll be back for wanting soon, oh soon. And then this is the last one. This one is from about 2 months ago, so it's you might get it. How many and the way that they have died. In the way of freedom lies a man who lies no longer in the way. Lies he there where despair was, even grand as the lilies of the field. And now one lays a wreath down where the truth was born, and now the word is no longer where are you, but where are they?
Wow. Bob Gordon. Well, with that, we are entering the door prize phase of the evening. He will be shuffling these cards, and when you signed in, you put. Did you want to read or say something on the mic? I just wanted to make sure because we didn't have a chance to ask you, and now we're doing this. So yeah, better have. So when you signed in, there was a number next to your name, and you'll notice these cards that don't have numbers on them, and this is how these are going. So we have Billy Collins. We have this book that Stephanie Manning read from. Poems That Live Forever. So that was where the roads diverged by. And there's My Love is a Red, Red Rose, and there's Reverie, and where's that other one in there? There you go. Youth and Age, all these classics. And so Billy Collins, an anthology, The Lights of Earth, John Keats, The Making of a Poet, Propaganda in the Public Mind, in case you want to listen to Noam Chomsky.
Who did Lights of Earth?
Huh?
Who did Lights of Earth?
Oh, I have to go back and look. Oh, Lights of Earth. Oh, sorry. Gina Berault. Okay. And then Dreamwork, Mary Oliver, winner of the Pulitzer Prize for Poetry. Great book there. And then, of course, there's The Last Word, the mini feature, the co-pilot, the keynote, and choosing next week's theme. May I have a drum roll, please? Just to get them sent. Thank you for that.
Off or on?
Oh yeah, we should turn that off because we no longer
If the-
need to.
this one, which one?
If anybody's watching, they'll be going, "Oh, the boring part's on."
Which
Oh yeah, the cloud.